Test number 1. We're forcing a larger weight, but I'm gonna try to keep happiness up, discipline down. So I'm gonna praise him enough so that his happiness goes up, his discipline goes down. That's the idea. Hopefully he doesn't just digivolve from just from that. I mean, maybe that might be good. I don't actually really know. But I don't know if you can praise him to a point. So if I praise him more, does he still get happy? That's the question. Yes, he still does. Okay. So let's overfeed him. And keep his discipline at below 0, but his happiness at a good level. And we'll see if that makes a difference as to what he becomes. That's the idea. And I have no idea what might happen. But before, I think I just pissed him off to a level where he just didn't want. He was just kind of forced. That's a good sign, right? If the little guy pops up, right? Maybe that's a good sign. Nope, no, not a good sign. Noted. Test 1 failed. Technically, I guess that was test 2. Reset. Test 2. High discipline. High weight. Angry. Anger is fine. I'm gonna let him be angry. But I want him to be disciplined. I might have to balance this a bit harder. So let's feed him, because feeding him is going to decrease. So let's scold him after feeding him most times. But keep him unhappy severely. Should be... Oops! Yeah, oh no, that was the right thing. Keep feeding him excessively. That's the idea. I should check his weight overall. So his weight is 19 right now. We'll go with that. Weight 19. And we will pay attention to that this time, because it might be... The idea might be that he got a little too weighty. A little too weighty, right? Maybe if we exceed his weight limit, then he becomes Numamon for sure. So, it could be a possibility that as long as we don't exceed the weight limit and get him to evolve naturally, perhaps that will lead to something good. 23. Okay, here we go. At this point, he hates me. Hates my guts. So we've got minimal happiness, like exactly 0 happiness, and possibly overweight. You might need to be a little bit more overweight, but no, that's still failed. Test 3 failed. Let's try something else. Alright, what to do for test 4? Test 4, I'm thinking if I can manage it, I'm gonna not feed him at all. If I don't feed him, like maybe what I should be trying to figure out is that certain parameters do lead to him becoming Numamon. And I think one of those factors might be the weight. Because it doesn't seem to be... I think we've knocked out happiness, discipline, as being, we tried both. We tried both sides of that. Obviously we don't have maximum on either, but it'd be really difficult to get to that point. I mean, well, it wouldn't. You could get to maximum, but you'd have to sacrifice one or the other. So we could try that in the future, but I think what we should try now, if we can, which we might not have the time to do so, but if he gets hungry, I'm not going to feed him. And I'm gonna presume him to be... I'm gonna lead him to be underweight. On purpose. But I'm gonna train him. So that he tires out. Wait, no, he just kind of immediately digivolved. Now there's a chance, I guess. This doesn't really count as a test, but I guess maybe there could be a random chance of something. Right, so even if I do the same thing over again, he could turn into something else. Maybe random. Nope. Still lost it. Okay, I don't know that there's much we can try then if it's just one thing that's going to lead him to Digivolve at this point. We might have to cut our losses, but there's very little extra we can do here. We can try. If that's going to be the case. I could try not doing anything for a while and just running around wasting time. So maybe that will be our tests. What are we on? 5? Test 5. Test number 5, I guess. Alright, test number 5. We are going to just run around and waste time and not do anything. And then hopefully he will just get hungry at some point. Or it could just be a time-based thing. It might be a time-based thing that he's just going to Digivolve no matter what within a certain amount of time wasted. So that could be what we're dealing with here, which means I could do a little bit more. No, it can't be that, because like I kind of just put him on the training thing and he immediately digivolved. Whereas the other things, it was like I was feeding him and or scalding him, which should have taken a lot more time, I think. Yeah, okay, we didn't do anything that time, so we'll see what happens, I guess. Yeah, okay, nothing good. Only got a few more things I can think to do. One of them would be to engage in a battle on purpose and hopefully have him be killed in the battle, lose a life, and then digivolve. See if that does anything. What I have to think is, like, what would count as a care mistake? And, like, weight, I think we've tried. We can't at this point get him underweight. That option is not available to us. So, the only thing we can try is overweight, but we've tried overweight with positive happiness. We've tried it with negative. We can go to either end. We can try to go to either end of the spectrum as far as we can go. We can try that. I think it would behoove us to engage in a battle and lose. That's going to be the next thing we try. But I'm going to have to find a tough enemy to fight, because I don't believe that the initial... I think we should have enough time to run into something up in the tropical forest area. Maybe Piximon will be there. We can engage Piximon there. This is test 6, I think. Or I might have mess that up. I don't know. So I tested by running around, so we should have enough time to get somewhere where we can be reasonably killed. Okay, fine. I didn't mean to run into this character, but that should be fine. Actually, they're not really strong, are they? Maybe if we engage 2 at a time, it'd be good. I wonder if I can remove all of his attacks. I mean, that can't possibly be a thing, right? I mean, he has a good chance of winning this battle. I am not going to tell him to do a single thing here. You know what? Realistically, I think it might be possible to take this guy just at this level. Oh, you know what I could do? Because I have poisonous meat, I could give him an illness on purpose. He almost ran out of magic. Or MP, I guess. No, he could potentially Digivolve just immediately after this encounter. And he did not! Okay, well we can lose then. There's no way we can win because we don't have enough MP. The only potential for failure here is if the other enemy runs out of attacks. Ooh, that's good. That's good. That's a good thing. I think he might take more damage in that state. I don't know if I should say that's a good thing because it's you know, he's being attacked by a monster, and I'm saying like I'm willing him to die. You know, you know. But I have to experiment because I don't know what else to do. I've tried. This is test 6 at this point. We're at test 6. So we're just hoping. I think the enemies run out of attacks. Nope, never mind. The enemies still have attacks. It's just not using them for some reason. And we're slowly dying of poison anyways. You know, with the death scenario, there is potential for, there it is, for Bakuman, just by random chance. I mean, at this point, I'm happy with anything as long as it's not the fucking slug. So, like, if I have to do something wrong, and it gives me an evil Digimon, it's fine. It's not Numamon, so I don't care. He hates me now. He hates my fucking guts, and that's wonderful. That's fine. I don't care. Wait. There's the problem with the virus meter, though. That is something I don't think I've really talked too much about, but it seems to only go up. Even when the Digimon dies, that meter still stays at the same point, so I'm a little worried about that, because that might be just like a permadeath kind of thing. Where if our virus meter gets to maximum, there's just nothing else we can do. Or it might just screw us for the entire remainder of the game. Who knows? Well, we are looking real bad. You know what I would want to do is scold him. He's at negative for both. Let's hope. I think he's probably just gonna Digivolve, like, relatively soon. I could just take him into another battle. But that does put us in negative, so it actually kind of raises our chances here. That does restore him to full, so there's little chance we're gonna lose another battle. Nice. 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 Like, who knows? Who knows? I mean, if I looked it up, I might have a better idea of, like, if I just looked up one of them, maybe. I might have a better idea of, like, what the specifics are for certain things. Like, what the parameters are that, like, specifically what it might be, you know? If I looked up one of them, he's just gonna win this battle. You know, and I watched this, I almost feel like I could just take a rookie Digimon out into the field and have a reasonable time, so long as they're over about 1,000 and 100 in most stats. Damn, that's actually really good, like the stat boost we're getting here. Oh, he's hungry. I'm fine with that. But he is also Digivolving right now, so maybe I'm not so fine with that. Let's see what happens. I also am a little concerned. I am a little worried that it might have auto-saved to death. I don't really know if that's a thing. Some things I assumed were auto-saves, like the Digivolution, I assumed was an auto-save, but could be wrong about that. So we got this guy again. I fucking hate him. He hates me even worse, I think, because he's also... he seems to hate me a lot worse. Why is that? Why does he hate me worse? Why is he actively unhappy? I think it's because... maybe I can force him to digivolve from this state by just making him absolutely fucking despise me. Overfeeding him. I wonder what would happen if I did that. Oh, I fucking forgot again. It's a stupid... lose my item thing. Just mistreat him. Treat him like shit because he is shit and he deserves it. Just gonna use all of my fucking meat. Give him an illness. I don't even care. I don't even fucking care. Maybe that's what he deserves. Maybe that's what he needs. Sometimes he gets a little fly on him. I don't know what that means. I should probably feed him the giant meat first because that raises his weight moldy. Moldy meat. That's gonna give you an illness. Yay! I don't care. So we need to scald him, because that'll raise his discipline, but also lower his happiness, and his happiness is just kind of a net positive at this point. So let's get him bare bones as miserable as fucking possible. He has nothing going for him. Illness. I've used all my food. He's unhappy. He's in a forest. I can fucking put him in a battle where he'll fucking hate it. Maybe this is what I have to stoop to. Maybe this is the level I have to, this game wants me to stoop to in order to get something realistic. The game drove me to this, okay? It drove me to this state. This is what I feel I have to do. You know, when we started this series, it was, you know, it was happy. We were all happy-go-lucky. We were having a good time, having a fun time. But you know, the game has done this to me. It's forced me. It's forced my hand. There's nothing else I can do. Nothing. This is where we stand. That's fine. That's fine. I don't even care. Not anymore. I keep forgetting about stolen objects. I don't even care. Are you still sick? Oh, yes you are. Oh, yes you absolutely are. Oh, you are miserable. You are in a miserable state right now, aren't you? This is the absolute rock bottom we've hit here, boys. Rock bottom. What do I don't even know what else to do. I feel like I should just reset. Because I don't know what to do. Like, I can't feed him anymore. I just kind of have to run around and just hope something happens. More than likely, he's just gonna die, but that's probably gonna take a while. You know, in most games, I prefer to be nice. You know, I like being nice. I like treating things as as I realistically feel about them, you know? Like, yeah. That's cool. When I was a kid, I used to think about I used to love Digimon. Like, I would watch it I think it came on every week at like Tuesday. It was like Tuesday night, I think. I called it my show. That's what I called it. I was like, when, you know, my parents wanted me to do something, I was like, my show's on. I can't do that. I have to watch my show. I don't have time. This is the one time of the week where my show is on and I have to watch it. And you can't tell me, like, just not today. I can't do anything right now. It's like, what, half an hour? I have to watch it. I used to think, when I was a kid, I used to think how cool it would be to find to be one of the, you know, one of the Digimon boys. You know, how cool it would be to find a little Digivice. I don't even care. Go ahead. And you know, just be one of the special little children that has their own little personal creature around. He's disgusting. I hate him. You know? That'd be so fucking rad. And you'd get to go to the Digimon world, and, you know, you get your own little special pal. You have to take care of him. It'd be a lot of fun. And, you know, I'm a little regretful I didn't have this game as a kid, because I would have loved it. I would have absolutely loved it. I would have played the shit out of this. I probably wouldn't even care if I got this guy. I wouldn't even care. I'd be like, whatever, I'll just try again. You know, I don't want this guy, because, like, I can't really make any realistic progress with it, and so I probably would have, as a kid, also determined that I would not want this guy. And I would have tried my best to get somebody better. But, you know, I probably would have been okay with it, you know. I would have stuck it out, you know, spent some time with him. Maybe he'll change into something else anyways. You know, it doesn't have to be like, oh, you know, I don't have much time to myself anymore, that I can just sit here and play this game for endless hours, you know, sit here and play this game for 12 hours every single day. You know, summer break, I have all the time in the world, I can just play this. I don't even care. I got nothing to do. I got nothing better to do. This is all I got. I would have stuck through it probably. I don't care. Look how miserable he is. You know, it's a little depressing. A little sad, you know. I do remember I used to have a friend who lived down the street from me. And he was a few years younger than I was. So there was always kind of it was always kind of weird at certain points, because he you know, it was like hanging out with a little kid, you know, like hanging out with your little brother, and it's like, he's just a little kid, you know. I want to hang out with kids my own age, you know. Like it does come off as kind of lame a little bit some of the time, you know, to hang out with people younger than you. Because I had this other friend, and you know, they were like the only people I knew that I hung out with, because they lived in my neighborhood. I had this other friend who, like, I mean, one day he literally came to that guy's house when I was at his house, and he just asked me to stop hanging out with this kid and, like, come and hang out with him instead. And he was older. He was only like a year younger than me, so it was like a little less, you know, little less lame, I guess, to hang out with him. But it felt awful, because I didn't like that guy as much. I didn't like the people he hung around, because there's this other, like, even older kid who was just kind of an asshole. And, like, his only friends, he didn't even have any friends his own age. He was, like, damn, I think he was in high school, and we were all in middle school. I was in middle school. He might have been, like, I said it was a year behind me, but it might have been, like, 2 or 3 years, because I don't think he was in middle school. He might have been in when I was in 9th grade, or 8th grade, right? Because 6th, 7th, 8th. So it would have been 8th grade, and he would have been in 6th grade, I think, at that time. But this guy was, like, in high school. He seemed like a real old kid. Like, it was cool to hang out with this older kid, because he was an old guy, you know. Like, it was just always cooler to hang out with older guys. But he was an asshole. He was an absolute dick. And I hated him. And that friend who I'm trying not to name. I'm trying not to name names here because I don't want it to make it real personal. But he really wanted to hang out with this guy like all the time, and I really didn't want to hang out with this guy because he was an asshole. And that's kind of why I stopped hanging out with this guy, because he forced me to hang out with the other guy. I didn't want to hang out with the older guy, so I was like, I prefer, like, I feel happier, I feel more innocent when I'm hanging out with this cool kid down the street. This cool kid down the street, you know, he was into all the same things as me. He was into Digimon, Super Smash Brothers. He was really into video games, which was like my thing. So Smash Brothers, we would play that all the time. I remember when Brawl came out, like, I was hanging out with this kid constantly, and we were playing Brawl. He had Brawl before I did, so I would go over to his house and we would just play Brawl, and it was really cool. We actually did a lot of like little role-playing like match things where we would go into his backyard, and he had like these Nerf swords, and we would just like fight each other and like role play as characters. And he was really into Zelda, and he really liked to pretend to be Link all the time. He dressed up as Link like a lot of time, quite a few times for Halloween. This guy, you know, he was fun to hang out with. Like, there was nothing real like sinister about hanging out with this kid. It was just like fun. Where I was hanging out with the other kid, it was kind of sinister, you know. It felt like he liked to be kind of a bad kid, you know, like messing with people, playing pranks, and he liked to play a lot of like mature video games, even though we were not old enough to play them. He played a lot of like Duke Nukem, and I mean, and nowadays, like, I look back at that, I'm like, yeah, it really wasn't that bad, but you know, it's not a big deal to play M-rated games. This guy, he just fucking died. But anyways, the story I was gonna try to tell here was, one time we played, I think, Digimon World 4 on the PS2, and that was a very different game, but it was so complicated that neither of us understood what we were doing or what we were supposed to do, so we only played it for like a day, and then we stopped playing it entirely. I remember that. Playing this actually kind of reminds me of that. It was a different time. Well, anyways. Oh, we lost Teardrop. Well, I'm resetting.